Hello everyone. So, welcome to the world of Indian English fiction. So, this will be our first session on Indian English fiction. So, let's begin with Raja Rao. I think you people are very much familiar with this man, Raja Rao. He is one of the best among Indian English fiction writers, along with R.K. Narayan and Mulkraj Anand. So, we will begin with Raja Rao. I told you Raja Rao was an Indian writer of English language novels and short stories whose works are deeply rooted in metaphysics. So, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് തന്നെ കുറച്ച് വെൽ നോൺ വേർഡ്സ് ഒക്കെ അറിയാം രാജാറാവിൻ്റെ. The Serpent and the Rope. It was published in 1960. Serpent and Rope is a semi-autobiographical novel recounting a search for spiritual truth in Europe and India. Established him as one of the finest Indian prose writers and won him the Sahitya Akademi Award in 1964. So, note the point. Raja Rao won Sahitya Akademi Award in 1964 for the work The Serpent and Rope. First important factor. For the entire body of his work, Raja Rao was awarded the NOTAT International Prize for Literature in 1988. So, NOSTAT International Prize for Literature in 1988. So, that is the one of the best award in the field of literature. And Rao's wide-ranging body of work spanning a number of genres is seen as a varied and significant contribution to Indian English literature as well as world literature as a whole. So, Raja Rao made his contribution in Indian English fiction both in novels and short stories. So, if we discussed about his personal life, Raja Rao was born on November 8th, 1908 in Hassan. Hassan is a city in Karnataka. So, he was born into a Samartha Brahmin family of the Hoysala, Karnataka caste. So, he belongs to Brahmin community. He was the eldest of 9 siblings, having 7 sisters and a brother named Yogeshwara Ananda. His brother's name was Yogeshwara Ananda. And his father, H.V. Krishnaswamy, taught Kannada, the native language of Karnataka, at Nizam College in Hyderabad. So, his father was a Kannadiga professor, a Kannada professor, and he worked at Nizam College in Hyderabad. His mother, Gauramma, was a homemaker who died when Raja Rao was just 4 years old. So, his brother's name was Yogeshwara Ananda and his father was a Kannada professor and his mother was a homemaker and who died when Raja Rao was just 4 years old. So, the death of his mother when he was 4 left a lasting impression on the novelist. The absence of a mother and orphanhood are recurring themes in his works. Note the point. His mother died when he was just 4 years old. So, this influenced his writing, and most of the writings written by Raja Rao featured with the themes of orphanhood and lost childhood. Another influence from early life was his grandfather, with whom he lived in Hassan and Harihalli. So, these are the influences for the writings of Raja Rao. First one is absence of mother and orphanhood, as well as his grandfather. And Raja Rao was educated at a Muslim school, the Madrasa-e Aliyah in Hyderabad. After matriculation in 1927, Rao studied for his degree at Nizam's College at the Osmania University, where he became friends with Ahmad Ali. That is very important. He began learning French after he met Ahmad Ali. After graduating from the University of Madras, having majored in English and history, he won the Asiatic Scholarship of the Government of Hyderabad in 1929 for study abroad. So, ഇവിടെ ചിന്തിക്കേണ്ട ഏറ്റവും വലിയ കാര്യം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് he got education from abroad, and Rao moved to the University of Montpellier in France. He studied French language and literature, and later at the Sorbonne in Paris, he explored the Indian influence on Irish literature. He explored the Indian influence on Irish literature. He married Camille Mawley, who taught French in Montpellier. In 1931, he married a French woman, Camille Mawley. Later, the marriage lasted until 1939, just 8 years long. Later, he depicted the breakdown of their marriage in The Serpent and the Rope. So, his unsuccessful marriage, he depicted that in his The Serpent and the Rope. And Rao published his first stories in both French and English. During 1931 and 32, he contributed 4 articles written in Kannada for Jaya Karnataka. Jaya Karnataka was an influential journal in Kannada, and in 1931 he contributed 4 articles written in Kannada for this journal Jaya Karnataka. And in 1939 he returned to India. He edited with Iqbal Singh Changing India, an anthology of modern Indian thought from Ram Mohan Roy to Jawaharlal Nehru. He participated in the Quit India movement of 1942. He was a freedom fighter, and he was associated with Quit India movement of 1942. In 1943 and 44, he co-edited with Ahmad Ali a journal from Bombay called Tomorrow. Ahmad Ali was a childhood friend of Raja Rao. He was the prime mover in the formation of a cultural organization called Sri Vidya Samiti, devoted to reviving the values of ancient Indian civilization. This organization failed shortly after inception. In Bombay, he was also associated with Chedana. Chedana was a cultural society for the propagation of Indian thought and values. So, he was associated with 2 important organizations. First one is Sri Vidya Samiti. First one is Sri Vidya Samiti, and second one is Chedana. And Chedana is an association, a cultural society for the propagation of Indian thoughts and values. So, Rao's involvement in the nationalist movement is reflected in his first 2 books. So, he was very much associated with Indian nationalist movement for freedom of India, and his contributions as a nationalist reflected in his 2 important books. The novel Cantabura, it was published in 1938, was an account of the impact of Gandhi's teaching on non-violent resistance against the British. So his best novel, Cantabura, it was published in 1938, was an account of the impact of Gandhi's teaching on non-violent resistance against the British. The story is seen from the perspective of a small Mysore village in South India, and we will discuss the entire novel in detail in our upcoming classes. So, Kantapura is the novel we are going to learn. So, that's all about Raja Rao. So, he was a nationalist, he was a novelist. So, if we discuss about Kantapura, Raja Rao's first and best known novel, it was published in 1938, and Kantapura is a story of a South Indian village named Kantapura. The title signifies the background of the novel. Kantapura is the background of the novel, and title itself is Kantapura. The novel is narrated in the form of a Purana by an old woman of the village, Achaka. Achaka is one of the important character in the novel. And dominant castes like Brahmins are privileged to get the best region of the village, while lower castes such as Pariyas are marginalized. നമുക്കറിയാം, എല്ലായിടത്തും കാണുന്നൊരു സംഭവമാണ്. ഒരു ഗ്രാമത്തിലെ അപ്പർ ക്ലാസ് പീപ്പിളാണ് എപ്പോഴും ആ ഒരു ഏറ്റവും മികച്ച ഭാഗത്ത് ജീവിക്കുന്നത്. ഏറ്റവും തുറന്ന ഏരിയയിൽ അവരാണ് ജീവിക്കുന്നത്. ബാക്കിയുള്ളവർ മാർജിനലൈസ്ഡ് ആണ്. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഒരു കാസ്റ്റ് ഡിസ്ക്രിമിനേഷനും മറ്റു കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ തന്നെയാണ് ഇതിൻ്റെ ഒരു പ്രമേയം. സോ ഞാൻ ഇപ്പോൾ അതിലോട്ടൊന്നും കാര്യമായിട്ട് പോകുന്നില്ല. നിങ്ങൾ രാജാറാവിനെ കുറിച്ച് കുറച്ച് കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ മനസ്സിലാക്കുക. അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ലഭിച്ച പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട പുരസ്കാരങ്ങൾ, അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ മേജർ തീം, പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട ലൈഫ് ഇവൻറ്റ്സ്, ഇതൊക്കെ ഒന്ന് മനസ്സിലാക്കി വെക്കുക. ആൻഡ് ഹി വൺ മെനി അവാർഡ്സ്, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് വെരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്. In 1964, he won Sahitya Academy Award. In 1969, he won Padma Bhushan, India's third highest civilian award. Is Padma Bhushan. He won Padma Bhushan in 1969, and in 1988, he won Nostart International Prize for Literature, and finally in 2007, he won Padma Vibhushan, India's second highest civilian award in 2007. So this is all about Raja Rao. സോ ഇത്രയൊക്കെയാണ് ഈ രാജാറാവിനെ കുറിച്ച്, പേഴ്സണൽ ലൈഫിനെ കുറിച്ച് നമ്മൾ പറയാനുള്ളത്. നമ്മൾ ഇന്ന് ജസ്റ്റ് ഒരു ഇൻട്രൊഡക്ടറി സെഷൻ മാത്രമാണ് ഞാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് മെല്ലെ മെല്ലെ തുടങ്ങാം. നമുക്ക് നോവലിലോട്ട് കടക്കേണ്ടതുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ വരുന്ന ക്ലാസ്സുകളിൽ നമ്മൾ കാന്തപുര വളരെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽ ആയിട്ട് തന്നെ കാന്തപുര ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതായിരിക്കും. അതിനു മുമ്പ് നിങ്ങൾ രാജാറാവിനെ പറ്റി, അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട തീംസ്, അദ്ദേഹത്തിൻ്റെ റൈറ്റിംഗ് സ്റ്റൈൽ ഒക്കെ ഒന്ന് വായിക്കുക. പ്രധാനപ്പെട്ട തീംസ് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുണ്ട്. സോ അതൊക്കെ ഒന്ന് വായിക്കുക. പറ്റുന്നവർ ഒരു ടെക്സ്റ്റ് മെല്ലെ മെല്ലെ നമ്മുടെ ടെക്സ്റ്റ് കാന്തപുര ഒന്ന് മെല്ലെ വായിച്ച് തുടങ്ങും. അപ്പോൾ ഇത്രയൊക്കെയാണ് ഈ ഒരു സെഷനിൽ പറയാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നുള്ളൂ. നിങ്ങൾക്കറിയാം, ഞാൻ കോവിഡ് പോസിറ്റീവാണ്, ഇപ്പോൾ ഹോസ്പിറ്റലിലാണ് ഉള്ളത്. അപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് മെല്ലെ മെല്ലെ തുടങ്ങാം. ഇന്ന് തൽക്കാലം ഈ ഒരു ഇൻട്രൊഡക്ടറി സെഷൻ മതി. ഓക്കെ, വിൽ സീ യു. ഓക്കെ.